Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the latest installment of Who Peed in the Dating Pool. I'm excited because I have Miss Sadara. Now, if you guys don't know about Sadara, I'm going to give you a little background on Sadara. See, Sadara and I, we did a live this summer. And she had the quote of the year for Who Peed in the Dating Pool. And because of that quote, we had nearly 4,000 views on that video. So yeah, she was the star of the show that day. So it was funny and I appreciated it. We all had a good laugh. What's up, Lex? So she's going to be here today. She's here, and I'm excited to have her. Now, I hope all of you have been following the series. We've been doing a series on intimacy. So through this series, we did 2 installments so far, and it's just basically talking about the steps of intimacy and what you consider intimacy and what stages are involved, at least from your perception or perception of what you feel is intimacy. What's up, sis? So we've been talking about that for the past week or so, and we want to get Sadara's perspective because, as always, she always has an interesting viewpoint of things. So we're going to discuss those and we're going to enjoy. I mean, she's always great. So, hold on. Listen, folks, I've been working on, hold on. That's my drum roll, y'all. So it is what it is. So the budget is low. Drum roll. Okay. All right.
There is nothing no budget about me.
No,
okay.
no.
So the budget is infinite.
No,
the budget is what you make it to be.
You listen. It's not your budget. It's my. I'm the low budget one over here. I gotta step my game up with you guys. I know. How are you, my friend? How are you?
I am a tired lady. I woke up at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the road at 6.
Okay.
Went condo shopping.
Okay. Big dog.
Made a pit stop.
Mm-hmm.
To see my cousin, who has her. Had fun. Feverishly sped up the turnpike to be on with you at 6:30, and you see I was early.
You know, listen, I don't know if I gave you the proper introduction, but I just wanted everybody to know that it was a live, me, you, Lex, and my man Steve, and yo, people love that. It over 4,000, and it's really because of you coming in.
I share facts. You had a lot to say about that, right? You should not go on vacation with someone you do not feel comfortable pooping.
Exactly. You need to feel comfortable. Your bowels need to be at ease when you go on vacation. Don't be going up there trying to travel with some uneasy bowels. You can't. We just see bad things happening.
Here, you need to be free. You know all that good food. You going out of the country. It's fresh.
You're
no
right.
GMOs.
Right.
It goes out.
Indeed, and coming from someone who had food poisoning while on vacation, you need firm bowels. I agree. So, again, welcome to the show. Always amazing having you. You have this interesting perspective and viewpoints on everything, and I appreciate it. And they're definitely blunt.
Well, you know, I got to give it to you straight. You know, there's enough people with the feather. I'm not the feather. You want the feather? Ask me.
No,
right?
No question. Absolutely.
You know, when I'm like gonna give it to her, like, you making poor choices, she's like, Sadara, you gotta be gentle with me today because I'm having.
I know somebody who I call, she's the machete. I call her the machete. And I try to advise her, say, be a butter knife. You don't always have to be a machete. They both cut. but one is a little bit more jagged than the other. So it's okay to be a butter knife every once in a while. She said you're hurting her feelings. Oh, no, Lex.
It's the words. She doesn't like the words.
Right.
Like, I'm not yelling. I'm not cursing. Anyway, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused.
It's all right, Lex. You're going to be all right. So, I don't know if you've seen any of the episodes, maybe if you have or haven't. But what I've been doing is I've been covering intimacy, physical and the non-physical, especially the non-physical, because that's really where it begins, the non-physical aspects of intimacy and what does it mean to you. So briefly, I won't go over the whole thing. So briefly, what I think it basically comes down to 3 stages. Okay. First stage being the communication aspects.
Okay.
Then that communication bridges into the next aspect, number 2, which is trust. And once you get to that trust phase, which basically is going to be led through communication. And then last but not least is that yearning for one another, that feeling of need and that feeling of bonding and so forth that exists once you get past that trust stage. And I talked about it on some of the other stages, but those are my views. And I honestly just want to know what other people think, and put it in the chat, y'all. And shout out to everybody on the live. Like and follow.
Yes.
But
my girlfriend just asked for it, so hold on.
Mm-hmm.
These people with their names that's not theirs, it makes me hard for me to find you. Hold on.
No,
Let
yeah.
me to her. She just texted me, and then I'll respond.
Okay. Yeah, so I basically, we wanted to talk about it and just wanted to find out what other people think. What are your views on intimacy? What stages, especially the non-physical aspects of intimacy? What occurs? What's needed? What would you say?
I think the non-physical is most important because after whatever period of time, right? And that varies, but it's going to be a period of time. You get it popping, like other things are going to happen. Life's going to happen. Crisis may happen. You know, a bad day may happen, right? So we all know that physical sex bonds you. So if you table that, right? What are the things that are going to connect you, especially if your spouse is ill or depressed or things like that, right? So I do think trust and communication, people kind of don't put as much value, in my opinion, as they should on those 2 things. But
I agree.
That's really the glue that's going to keep you, right? Especially if your partner becomes ill, right?
Right.
So they can't get it popping, right? But you still care about them. You want to be committed to this person. And so it will be those other things that keep you bonded, connected, and also will help with the longevity. When we talked long ago, and the young lady who lives in Georgia, I can't remember her name, she was saying, you know, she wishes
right.
her mom,
Piece of Venus.
Yes, had a partner, right? Or someone, because she's older in age, she has doctor's appointments, all the things that she listed and wanted for her mom and a partner, none of them were sexual, right?
Right.
It's, you know, someone to lean on. And so I think those things are actually more important, especially if you want a relationship for the long haul, right? So if you have a partner and you don't trust said partner, how's that going to work? Because then to me, that does impact the intimacy, because do you want to be intimate with someone who is for the community?
Right. Community intimacy is never good.
Everybody. And so I do think that, you know, if you can really bond with a person, right? Connect with them, communicate with them, be able to be vulnerable with them, right? Those things, then, in my opinion, make for you swinging from the chandeliers, because this is your person. You can trust them. They know your deepest dark secrets. So if you run for office, they got the bones, you know? So to me, the other things better. And it also makes you, in my opinion, able to more easily go through the tough times, right? Because your partner is battling prostate cancer. So currently there may not be a whole lot of sex, you know what I mean? And it might be things that you have to do to get back to the sex that you had. So I said table that, because any relationship, you know, at some point or another, you're fucking, right? So like we put too much emphasis on that. We know what's going to happen. We're human beings. It's a natural body function, but we don't put enough emphasis on the other things that kind of gel and mold and keep the relationship and the intimacy. But just going.
I agree. I think that a lot of times when I talk about those stages 1, 2, and 3, I think people try to bypass the communication stage and jump into trust type activities. You know what I'm saying? In order to get to those activities, you have to have a full grasp on the communication, which means through that communication, you're talking about dreams and hopes and fears and so forth, you know, being real with one another and having those conversations and saying, okay, you know, I'm not perfect. And there you learn about your flaws. And then if you're open, if you really like this person, now mind you, you shouldn't have this conversation with everyone.
Agree.
You know, but you pick and choose who you feel that you can have that conversation with. And once you decide that this is the person to have that conversation with and you want to build, then you talk to them. And over time, you tell them more. And then you'll tell them more. And then you'll tell them more, because now you're starting to go into those trust avenues. Then you can cross that bridge and then you get to trust. But if you bypass the conversation and the communication and you try to do trust activities and you put your trust into someone that you haven't even communicated your thoughts and dreams and all those things with, you're risking it. And then when things go awry, then you're like, how'd that happen? Well, you know what? There's a process to this thing here. And you need to follow that process. And when you're not following the process, and you know, it's a foundation. That to me, that communication is the foundation. Just like if you have a building, you have a foundation. That communication is the foundation that you're building this relationship on. And then to get to that trust.
Right.
I also said this, and I'll run this by you, see what you think. So when I talked about that was the nonverbal. There's 3 steps, and then I went to the physical. And to me, the physical are the exact same 3 steps. It's communication. See, now to communicate what you like, what you don't like, what you want to try, what you don't want to try.
Oh, it's the act. Then usually you have the post-sex huddle. But I understand. You know, usually
the post-sex huddle. The post-sex huddle.
Yeah. Like, did I take you where you needed to go? You know, but to your point, yes, it's still communication, but usually it's the act and then the post, which may not be the right way according to Gal. So, you know.
But the funny thing is, but then we go again. So we say we follow these steps, and you go into that trust. So you communicate what you like. Now you go into that trust. Now you find yourself doing things because you trust this individual that you may not have been doing before, because now you communicated, you built this trust. Now you're doing things that you're like, oh, okay.
How about that? Girl, there's trust. Very true. I agree with that.
You know, so I mean, okay. So and then the last step, exact same step. The third step is the yearning. That need to feel like that you want to fulfill that individual, that they want to fulfill you, because that yearning for one another. So that's physical and non-physical, and those are my 3 steps. And I watched a video and they added an additional step that I didn't think about, and maybe you can tell me more about this.
What was
it was it was called the awakening. Now, this awakening stage is this stage. They have 5 stages. I have 3. They have 5, but this awakening stage is the point where you become so comfortable with this person that you know everything about them and you just feel them and everything. You become one. It's a bonding stage that you two are so in sync with one another that it's just second nature, so to speak. And I guess that stage takes time. It's not something that just happens. But I thought that was dope. You know, I was like, well, hell, that's nice. I want one.
Stage, feel free to share in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it does take time to get stage, simply because that means that you are not guarded and you're not holding anything back, right? And it, to me, goes hand in hand with trust.
Right.
If you do not trust a person, or you trust them to a point, right? So, prime example, I have girlfriends, we're very close girlfriends, and they're, you know, some of them are in relationships, others are not. And like, we'll talk about things that they may or may not talk about with their person. And I get that, right? Because not that it's a secret, but maybe it's just kind of not your business. Does that make sense? And so, not trying to like hide it, but I do believe in having something for yourself, not in a hiding way, just in a I'm an individual kind of way, right? I am in a relationship or whatever, but we're not twins, you know? So I don't, now obviously big things, yeah, you know, there should be two-way communication, but every single morsel of your life, I don't think every single morsel of your life needs to be shared, especially when it's between like homegirls or homeboys, right? Because then they shared it with you. So now, you know, when pillow talk comes, you are kind of telling their business. So
absolutely,
you know, so I do think that's a balance. Like, you should definitely have a level of transparency. There should definitely be a level that, you know, I'm not withholding anything, full disclosure. You know, I'm letting you know, because the worst thing in the world is somebody finding something out in the street, right, about their partner or husband, wife, plus one, whatever the situation may be. And I understand that. But I also, to me, think that there's some things that maybe I just don't want to share. And
so let me ask you. So those things that you may not want to share, which is understandable, do you think that occurs in the awakening stage as well? Or are those things that you don't want to share with your spouse because whatever reason, but you're willing to share?
She summarized it. She said there are boundaries in relationships, right? So because I'm a woman of a certain age, you know, I'm not 20, where I'm so like there's certain things that, not that it's a secret, but why you need to know that? And not hide, like it's not something that's going to impact. I'm going to give you a prime example. I have a daughter, one child, that's it. She and I are close. So certain things that she shares with me, I don't even share with my ex-husband. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's understandable, because that's a bond between you, and that's a trust between you. And if she wanted to share that, then she would.
Right. But you know, some people look at that as, oh, you hiding stuff about your daughter, blah, blah, blah. You understand what I'm saying? So I think part of it is, back to that communication piece, let's have a mutual understanding of You know, like, because if you feel like that, right, and you're married to no, I need to know everything, and the person you're with does not, that's kind of over the long haul not going to work, right?
Right.
So,
and neither one, nobody's sharing everything. Stop. You know, they can.
You would be surprised.
Like everything. Like everything.
Be intimate. Should there be boundaries? Yes.
Yeah.
Because you had a whole life before you got with this person. I'll let you answer. But to me, yeah, I'm a human being before I got with you. So, I mean, it's not, to me, it's not a secret, right? It's not a secret. It's just none of your business, if that makes sense. But no, I totally believe in boundaries. Like, and when you feel comfortable, then you will share, or maybe you won't. But I think when you're in a partnership, you should not feel a way that they felt like that was a boundary that they did not want to share, I guess is my point.
I think long as you do it in a way where that other individual, that partner, doesn't feel there's a void. Because sometimes if there's something that they know is not being said and stated, there's a void that they feel. Because, I mean, you've been together for a long time, assuming, and you know each other, so you know there's something. And then you don't want people filling in the void with filling the blank here and then having their little brain go whatever. But I think that's where trust comes in. If you know that this person is just not going to violate me, and if there's something, you're like, I wonder what it is, but you know it's nothing that's going to violate you in a way. So I think that's a level of trust and intimacy as well.
Right. Or you can say, hey, there's something going on. I don't want you to think that I'm being sneaky. I'm just not in a place where I want to share that with you. It's not, and you know, then of course you can clarify. It's not that I'm cheating. It's not that it's another person. This is just something in private, and I don't want to share it with you. You know what I mean? Like,
and then you get to a point where, like, when you're ready, if you're ready, I'm here. You know what I mean? Hopefully. Exactly. You know.
No, I have had like experience that where it was totally, I mean, this was years ago, and I'll share it now because, you know, I'm in a different space, but my father had a girlfriend, and my parents obviously were divorced, and she had HIV, and he murdered her, and so he's doing life, right? So initially, like, I wouldn't want to tell, not that it's a secret, I just did not want to share that, and that is my choice and my right, I feel. But the person I was with at the time was like, oh, well, why are you being sneaky when your father calls? You go, because I don't want to tell you. You understand what I'm saying? And so I tried, like, listen, it's not like, what am I be sneaking doing with my father? But anyway, you understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, if there is a level of trust, right? That, okay, for whatever reason, it's got to be something that they don't want to share, and I'm going to respect that. Then that's a partnership that will work. But if it becomes, and Lex says she agreed with that, but here's my thing. It shouldn't have to quantify what the I don't want to tell you is. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. I think that we should all respect trauma as well, because everybody's trauma, maybe you don't want to share it. Maybe you don't want to relive trauma. I mean, that's a situation that you've come to terms with to an extent, I'm sure. However, even though you've come to terms with it, you still don't feel 100% comfortable just blurting out, this is what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at some point, I believe that, you know, we deal with trauma in our own way, you know, and that had to be traumatic. I'm sure it was traumatic, but we deal with it in our own ways. And some people talk about it. Some people are reserved with it. Some people go to therapy. Some people find the ways to ignore it or avoid it. Whatever the way is that you use it as an outlet should be respected. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just coming into a relationship with an individual. They've lived their whole life. You know what I'm saying? So when you come into this relationship, you don't necessarily get full access, you know, to everything, and nor should you. And if you do get that full access, that's probably because you earned it and maybe you deserve it. And that should be a compliment, that they're willing to share these parts of them that they've kept concealed, or at least in a different area of their psyche or mind or whatever. And they decided that, you know what, you earned this. And I think someone should appreciate that. But people don't always, you know, because they don't know how, you know, it's almost a selfish thing in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It's a selfish thing whereas it's about me as opposed to about them and the event. And you can't make it about yourself always, you know, but it depends. You know, people deal with things different ways, you know?
If you're talking about longevity and for the, you know, the long haul, pace yourself, player. Like, wait it out. You might not know in year 3, but you might know in year 10. You know what I mean? And stay with knowing in year 10. Not, oh, you know, I found out it was something in year 3. You didn't tell me, and I had to wait. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, it's a selfishness that the people. You know, people are self-indulged. That's just human nature. We worry about ourselves. You know, ego is something, boy. That ego is so.
High time, the ego will mess your life up if you let it.
It can. I mean, because I mean, it has its purpose, but you need to use it wisely
and keep it in check.
Oh yeah, keep it in check. So here's another thing. This is another series that I'm going to go into. So I'm going to tap in with you for a second. So another thing, the next series is basically the question that goes out to people that everybody thinks that they are. And I know on my last live, I brought it up when Marcia, shout out to Buddha. I brought it up, and the question was, are you dateable? And I posed that question on the stories. And basically, it's a serious question. Are you dateable? Most people assume yes, I'm dateable. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice girl. I'm cool. You know, I look okay. Why not? Right. And then I thought about it, and it goes further than that, because being dateable is being accessible, emotionally available. Right. And not everybody is emotionally available to be in the scene, you know? So you swimming around in this pee-filled pool because you're adding to the pee.
Before they peed in it.
I know. They throwing cocaine and crack in the pool, too. So I'm just saying, leave that stuff out of the pool. I'm trying to swim in this thing here. So it's like being emotionally available, and if you're void of that and you're running around in this dating scene, you're problematic, and you shouldn't be. And therefore you're not dateable, in my opinion. Another thing are people who haven't come to terms with the fact that they don't really want to be with one person. They want to be out there. They want to dip and dab and do whatever they want to do and not really be honest with the individuals. And they still want to be out there in that scene. Like, are you dateable? You know, you are one night standable, but you're not necessarily dateable. So it's some of those things. So I was like wondering if people would be honest with themselves, especially those who know at this moment that they're not dateable.
No, they won't. I have no lie. I started counting. I've been on 67 first dates.
Journals? You got a journal?
Yeah, I do. And I'm just like, no.
67. How many of them turned into second dates?
None.
They're just 67 first dates.
Yes, and that's it. Like, people, so I am an African American. I am very proud of my African American heritage. I only date African Americans. So, and I don't do dates. Like, we're not going to no movies. We're not having dinner. We're going to have coffee. Or if it's in the evening, we can have a cocktail. But no, that being trapped for 2-3 hours, got to have somebody. No. So 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour. Okay. All kinds. People out of a relationship 2 weeks, you're not ready to date, sir. Hasn't been a year anniversary of their wife's death that died of cancer, not ready to date, sir. Basically don't like Black people, and so we're the reason why Black people get, by the police. Black people are the reason why the police kill Black people. Not dateable for me. No job, just, suffering from depression. And mental illness is real, and it should be taken with and treated with care, not date. When I tell you escalate, I'm just like, there are how many billion people on the planet? Everybody claims they're for love. Where are all the same people? The same people that are healed. One guy, he was married. His wife cheated on him with the neighbor, had a child. Sir, you don't seem like you're healed from that. Like,
right. and understandably, but a lot of people aren't necessarily healed. But at least if you embrace the healing process, that you're going through the steps that you're trying to heal. Some people just avoid those steps and don't even try to heal, or don't even acknowledge that they need something to be healed from. So if you're not acknowledging the fact that, there are some issues here, there, over there, a little bit over here, if you're not acknowledging that, then how are you healing? And you're not working towards it.
No, I want you healed. I want you to work through all that stuff, because I've had to do that. Like, work through all the steps, talk to the counselor, lay it out. She have an action plan for you. Usually they make you do something. You understand what I'm saying? Because then when you are not healed, you go into these relationships and somebody does something and then they're triggered. Oh, I've gotten tons of trigger people, and I'm looking at them like, I'm gonna leave right now. It's very.
How many of them went to second dates?
None.
I mean, period. I'm no, not the first date people. The other. So there's another level. People. Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Reverse. Rewind. Wait a minute. So there was no second dates with anybody?
No, I'm just like, I don't think so.
No. Nobody got a second date?
No.
One second date?
Because here's the thing. My girlfriend just said healing is definitely necessary. Exactly. And Alexis said this lady be about her time, and I do. But here's time is our most valuable asset.
Absolutely.
Right? Whole screening process before we even get to the either Starbucks or the happy hour, right? Like, when was your last relationship? How many children do you have? Like, do you want any more children? Like, I have a whole checklist that they got to check on. Do you drive? A lot of them didn't make because they don't drive. And I am not an Uber. Oh, you can't pick me up?
Well, in New York, I mean, that's a thing in New York, people don't know,
Yeah. Well, you can't everywhere in the subway or Uber. So, I mean, that's just a fact. Like, so a lot of them, like, they come with a lot of lip service. Oh, I'm a good man. This, and that. I mean, I've heard a lot of these people are just, they have unresolved trauma. Like, I was in a relationship. The woman said that she lost the baby and I didn't hear from her for a year. Excuse me? That's not normal. I'm sorry. And you're not in court fighting for your kid. Oh, well, I just figure I would be nice to her. Sir, like, you understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, I didn't want to deal with that. Like, my daughter is 22, about to be 23. I got an empty nest. I don't want to deal with that. I don't. You can call me picky, whatever. So the reason why they don't make it to the second date is because during the first date, so now it's natural. You don't have to send your representative. You're just chatting. And then I find out the one thing.
What is that?
it's so many. Listen, we don't have enough time, but it's so many different things. The man who was married, and then his mother and sister DNA the son, and the son isn't here. Like, you probably should not be dating, sir.
You know what? You got to promise to come on when you go on that second date. We got to.
I promise I will. But I'm just like, you know what? I give up. God's going to send me a man. And that's it. When I tell you, she said it's like baseball cards. When I tell you, I'm to the point where I'm just like, and because I work in New York, and so I go out for lunch, like I can meet 10 or 2 or 10 every day. So, they present well, whatever, they're working, they're out for lunch, and they're seemingly normal.
Let me ask you, so if you could build your ideal fella, what would he look like? And what would it look like? Not, physically, just in general. What would it look like?
Okay, so I need him to have a healthy relationship with his family, children, and or ex-wife, baby mama. That is very telling about how he is as a person, right? Because, I'm divorced and I have a healthy relationship with my ex-husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
I call him or text him. People like, y'all sure y'all not get back together? But it's not about me. It's not about him. It's about our kid. You understand? Right. That's a big thing. How do you interact with your children, your ex, right, whomever,
right,
your family, right? Because family is probably the biggest thing. But even if you like maybe have some friction, which is normal, but y'all can work through that. Okay, so that's step 1. Number 2, we have kind of a mutual understanding of what monogamy is, or what cheating is not.
Okay.
Right? If you are sending dick pics and she is sending pussy pics, but y'all haven't fucked, my man, you're cheating. Just go ahead and fuck her. Because Sadara, do not know any woman who would be like, oh, it's okay. You understand what I'm saying? But
right.
So I think, we need to like kind of be in sync on that. That's not we need to like almost be twins on that. Need to have a job. They need to not live with their mother. They need to be able to, even if you don't have a car, be okay with paying the $100 Uber. Right? That's a thing. Oh, I get around. Okay, well, where are we going? You can't like catch a bus or a subway. So you're going to catch the Uber. Oh, I did it. It's $75. So you're not going? You understand what I'm saying? Like, so basically, I think maybe the overarching thing is have your money right. Because if you got your money right, then that sometimes the Uber's going to be $75.
Right.
And you should like,
well, that's incentive to get a car.
Exactly.
There you go.
I'm like, Uber, you don't pay, you don't just. Anyway, so be financially stable.
Secure. Stable.
Right?
Right.
It's basic. I think we learned this in high school math, right?
Right.
Your revenue should exceed your expenses. If your expenses exceed your revenue, and my thing is like, I don't got no problem paying or whatever, but I am not the Red Cross. I'm not a charity, right? And so I'm not interested in sponsoring the date. You understand?
Right.
I don't want to hear about the $75 Uber. So those kind of things. Like, if you're an adult and you're a grown man, like, be a grown man. Handle your skin. Be about your business. Even if that means you need to get a part-time job or whatever. Dating is expensive for everyone.
It is.
That's why I'm saying coffee. boo, I got the coffee. I got the Starbucks app. I'm going to scan it. Have your $5 coffee on me. Because then if it don't work, I don't want you to be upset about the $5 you done spent on me. And it's really bad, but it's almost to that point because it's exhausting. That's why I said God has to. I've given.
All right. So far we got a person who can sustain themselves financially. Mm-hmm. We have someone who does not live with his mom. We have someone who understands what monogamy is, and then we have someone who has a healthy relationship with said baby mama or whatever, if they have children or whatever.
Yeah.
So that,
and he has to have a job.
And he has to what? Oh yeah, he has to have a job. That financial, it kind of coincides with one another. No. Unless you're the local pharmaceutical distributor.
That's what I said. You
gotta So that's 2 parts baking soda, right?
That's why I said you have a job. So
there you go.
That's it. Those are like unreasonable things.
And
but
you gotta be black. You forgot the black part.
Oh yes, that's the first thing. The brothers. Yes. I wish I was into the others because they be into me, but that's just, it's not my thing.
I feel you.
I wish it was, but it is not.
Can't force it. It is what it is.
There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not asking too much. I mean, New York is a strange place. So I mean, it is what it is. But it's there.
She said, I need a W-2 file. You ain't never lied.
Background check.
You have to be. I get so many people that they have their own business.
Right.
I am really impressed as a person that has a business degree by entrepreneurship. I ain't to me, you take the risk, you work for yourself, you command your own salary, right?
Commendable. Absolutely. Absolutely.
These things. Oh, okay, well, we can drive. You can drive and meet me there. Oh, my car. And it takes everything in me, and I'm not trying to be judgy. What type of business do you have that you don't have a vehicle? How are you getting to said business meeting? How are you meeting with the client? How are you picking up your product? Remember, I got a business degree. Those are basic things to running a business. How are you doing the bank drop-offs so that your business has enough small bills? How, sir? How?
Yeah. I know it's challenging. And then that's why we had this platform. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I mean, big up. Hey, follow Who Peed in the Dating Pool. We had these type of conversations all the time. And if you're interested in joining, let me know. And we can schedule something. We can talk about it. We talk about obstacles in this dating scene. So that's what we discuss on this platform, and not just to talk about it, but to talk about it and discuss what can we do to improve it. How can we be beneficial? How can we not be the pee in the pool? Because we're not trying to be the pee. We're trying to be the chlorine.
That's right.
That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do over here. So that's what we know. So we got people like Sadara who come on and enlighten us with things. It is what it is. But, definitely like and follow. But like I said, it's such a process, because the whole dating process is difficult in itself. Because now you got to take two human beings and mesh them. And they have 2 different backgrounds, 2 different viewpoints, sometimes 2 different political views, religious backgrounds. And you have to try to get them to merge and get along and bond with one another. It's not it's a chemistry project, trying to get 2 people to mend and mold with one another. So I think it's something that shouldn't really be taken lightly. You know what I mean? It's something that really should be, taken seriously. I don't think casual dating is fine. I have no problem with casual dating. Sometimes you're bored. You just want human companionship and you want to go out. But if you're really dating to try to find someone serious, especially at our advanced age, because again, you know, you're lucky, you're young. I age in dog years, so I turned 300 in October. So, congrats! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I think, you know, when you go through the process, you know, you gotta take it seriously. Like if you're trying to date somebody seriously, you really have to, like you're doing, you're vetting these people, and you're trying to find someone who's going to be worth your while, so to speak. And that's not easy. I know it's not. I know it's not. I mean, us fellas, we can be difficult.
I need him. We got along so good, but he wasn't from here. He moved back. Like we got our birthdays were a week apart. Like we were in sync. You hear me? We're still friends now. He lives in North Carolina. He married. He got some kids. But like I'm like I need a replacement you. Like we didn't really argue. Like we got each other, and that's rare.
Where'd you meet him?
Work.
And work. Oh, see, I don't want that whole work thing. That is not
ending. Like we had gotten late. Our department closed, and I went to a different department, and he took the package and went back to North Carolina. So, but I understand what you're saying about the peeing and shitting where you work. Yes, it worked. It didn't end bad, so that's like good. But I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah,
I've done that. I did that once. I dated a coworker once, and not a good thing. I mean, it ended after we left because that particular part of the company changed. Yeah. So I went over to a different part of the company, and she left the company altogether. So when we broke up, we were no longer coworkers. However, there was so many struggles that, you know, if you weren't, it's great if you're doing well, but if you're not doing well, now you got to look at this person, like, you know, you got to see them.
Wake up every morning and be like, what am I gonna wear? Because I want to be cute for my boo. No?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know.
All bad, right?
I guess, I suppose, but I wouldn't do that again. I'd be like, you know, man, Lord, no. Never, no, the work thing, no.
I understand.
There needs to be some level of separation.
So did y'all work in the same department or just the same company?
No, we didn't work in the same department, so to speak, but we merged every once in a while. So we were constant. I saw her multiple times a day. So it wasn't like, okay, you work here and I work there. So we saw each other multiple times a day. Okay. And when it's going great. When it wasn't, and you know, that was one of those relationships where I look back at, I'm like, what'd you do that for?
That probably should have been a no for you. All right. I mean, you know.
It should have been. I mean, but that's when you know what? I'm going to tell you this. We worked so many hours. We spent so much time there that we really didn't have opportunity to really meet people. We spent so much time at work. And in that setting, so many people dated one another. It was commonplace. A lot of people are married and still married from that setting. So it was just commonplace. I know I said that already, but that's what it was. Dating each other at that facility was just commonplace.
Okay.
You know, and I didn't think anything of it. I've never worked anywhere quite like that before and since, but I just don't think. I mean, but I don't. If it works for you, my best friend met his wife at work.
Nice. Yeah, sometimes it works out, which is great. And then I guess if it does, then you have to waddle through the piss. And what did they say? Shay said other things. You know, all sorts of things. Yeah. So, what's one?
I think, Alexis, that's exhausting, lady. I'm looking at all these comments. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's why I was laughing.
It's like baseball. Yeah, it's like baseball cards. You can trade baseball cards, and after a while, they hold value, and so cheap. So cheap. The investment part of dating. Oh Miss Nicole got to follow W2. Oh boy.
That's
yeah,
a fact, because they are gainfully employed. Or when you work for yourself, when you file a W-9, right? When you're self-employed. Okay, because here's the thing, right? When we talked about financial stability, and then I went to Cole's comment at the bottom. If you work for yourself, you need to file a W-9, because you're not always going to be 20, you're not always going to be 40, you're not always going to, and you need some Social Security.
Absolutely.
So W-2 or W something, all right? Just
they don't want to pay no taxes. They don't want to pay no taxes.
I said, but then they don't get what she said, 1099 something. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm gonna read the comment because he's on there. He's about the dating at work. He said it can work with the right person. It heightens the vibes. I agree with that. When the other person doesn't talk too much. I think I agree with that. Like, you know, if you're seeing you, be like, let's go to lunch.
That part is the good part. You go to lunch, or if you have a long lunch.
That's the great part.
Where you been?
It was bad.
That damn traffic. I don't even know. A polar bear was in the road, and 3 hours later, here we are. Sweaty. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, listen, I don't knock anything. You know, if it works for you, you like it, I love it. You know, the whole thing, it's cool. Whatever works, whatever gets you to that place where you find somebody that's important, that's meaningful, and that you love and you want to be with, I'm all for it. Go for it. You know, however you get there, whatever road you use, it's fine with me.
Right. I agree with, I agree.
Unless you try to steal somebody else's woman or man, stay away from that road.
Oh, yeah. No.
That road's going to lead you into a brick wall.
Yeah, it's just a lot. So, I mean, listen, I said, Alexis and I just had this conversation maybe last night, 2 nights ago. Is that with anything, you get out of it what you put into it.
Absolutely.
Literally, I'm not putting anything into it. 2023, I ain't putting shit into it. God is going to find me a boo. That's it.
You know, God's sitting there like, let's see how this works out. God's sitting there looking at his watch like, oh no. He's like, you better get to work, man. He's like, man, I got to save some villages over here. What you doing? Oh, man. But you know what? Listen, I hope that does happen because you deserve it. I mean, you're a good person, and you absolutely, totally deserve that person that's going to appreciate you. And, yeah, definitely.
I'll keep you posted on the second date.
Yeah, because whoever makes it to the second date, well, damn, 68. That's you know what? That's what I'm gonna call him. If it's the next person, his name's gonna be 68. He gonna be like, "Why gonna be 68?" Oh, no reason. I don't know. 68.
Because you got past the first date.
Just say it, man. He don't know.
Because, and then we can wrap it up. There are red flags. It's just that the girlies think that the red flags are hearts, but they're not hearts.
Yeah, them red flags. Yeah, they think the red flags is go. Nah, it's not. They ignore them.
That means
listen, it's not just the ladies that ignore them. Fellas, we ignore them too. We be like, you know what? Because they say red flag, triple D's. Triple D's.
Be like, that's something I could work around. Be like, but
whatever. What's a red flag? What's a red flag? You know.
It's nothing.
You know, so I mean, and you know how guys are. They're just physical. You know, just this visual creatures, and they can just that red flag can smack them right in the head, and they be like, "Listen, it is what it is." Drop them D's on them. That's all they care.
Now you can do special tricks with them D's. That is why they want to do some acrobatic type things, you know. But I think you get past that quickly. True.
Quickly.
When those ribs merge.
You know what the funniest thing I was gonna say? I talked about those stages: communication and trust. You know what the biggest obstacle and barrier and why people jump past the communication and try to jump into that trust thing way too quick? It's that dirty word called attraction, physical attraction. Because they get so caught up in that physical attraction part of some of the elements that they just bypass some of the other things that are needed. So you need to get here, but that physical attraction just draws you in. Next thing you know, you jump in somebody's bones. Like, listen, you still in communication phase.
You are
easy.
Communication phase, but here is my rule on that. Are you ready?
Okay.
Have sex with a condom. It doesn't count. Yeah.
You know what? That's why I don't even ask about no body counts. Don't even ask. Don't even ask. With or without condoms? Enjoyable or not enjoyable? What are we asking here?
Listen, that's right. My girlfriend said it's like it never happened. Okay? That does not count. I am sorry.
Does not count.
You can jump into you're skipping stages because you're a human and you're attracted to somebody and you're ignoring the red flags, but you wear a condom, so it doesn't count. So if it doesn't work out, that's just somebody that you met, you know.
It don't count. And if you don't remember their name, then I guess it definitely don't count then, huh?
Exactly. My girlfriend said I agree with that. Physical attraction with some right. So that is the thing. We're jumping, but are we really jumping? Because, you know, or a condom. So
you know what? I'll put that on a stamp. If you wear a condom, it doesn't count.
Not. My body count is 3. 3.
As long as it's not 100 behind it.
So that's what I'm saying. 3. 1, 2, 3. That's it.
Oh my gosh. Yo, this is so fun. Listen, Sadara, I always appreciate you gotta come back. Even if it's before 68. I don't care. So
okay.
Even if it's before 68, you come back and you know. And everybody who was in the comments, I appreciate you guys. I mean, you made it fun and funny. And shout out, like I said, like and follow. Follow a page. We're going to have more stuff on here. You know, we look for people and we enjoy this. And this is a setting. It's for the public. You know, we do this for the public. We do this for everybody who wants to engage in these type of conversations. And we like doing it. And it's enjoyable. And it's entertaining, hopefully. And educational, maybe. And, you know, it's a labor of love. So we enjoy doing it. And I appreciate everybody who was on there. Much love. And Sadara, like always, I always appreciate you coming on. Definitely.
We'll touch. I'll get you more people to join. I got a whole lineup.
Yeah.
But
and it's who peed in the dating pool? Tell a friend.
Okay. Take care.
All right. 1.